Hi everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I am bringing you a review that's better late than never. This is Wave 2 Leader Class Titans Return Soundwave, and yes, it has been very difficult for those of us in the United States to try and get a hold of Soundwave. For whatever reason, the figure was not showing up on retail shelves and on online retailers. It took a while. I got this figure off of Amazon. It's still available there now, and it was available there for a while. The figure is basically a straight repaint of the Wave 1 Leader Class Blaster, which basically means things I liked about Blaster, I like about Soundwave, and things I didn't like about Blaster, I didn't like about Soundwave. There's a couple changes right here. Number one, right away, I was very disappointed to find out that Soundwave's Blaster is basically a repaint of Blaster's Blaster. And since it's a modern take on Blaster's classic rifle, it really doesn't fit in with Soundwave. Um, Other than that, I was happy to find that the panels on the legs do peg in a little more securely, and I was right when I said that the extra posts that I had in my original review of Blaster, that I said that these might be for Soundwave, were for Soundwave. They're for the shoulder cannon there. Other than that, Soundwave is in its classic blue colors, and I do have to say, the this figure is a great example of the in-between point. Now, I try to explain this to people, and basically what I mean is we already have the Masterpiece Soundwave. That is the best version of Soundwave you will ever get. Period. Not open for debate. It is a perfect update to the G1 figure. It does everything you would want the figure to do. But it's over $100. And Masterpiece figures really aren't designed to be knocked around. Soundwave here, the Leader Class, it's finally a toy update to the original G1 design. It's not a vehicle of some sort, and you can knock it around. So that's kind of cool. So, let me just give you a little 360 here. The back is basically the same as Blaster. You have all those connection points and what have you. And yep. So that's about it. We'll just continue on, and we'll go into the tape deck mode, which is no longer a microcassette recorder. But before that, we'll take a closer look at Sound Blaster, the Titan Master. As you can see, Sound Blaster is just a repaint of Twincast, and it's actually kind of cool because, as we know, Twincast was Blaster's upgraded form in the original Japanese continuity, and Sound Blaster was Soundwave's updated form. So I like that they have that, and give you a quick look at Soundwave's head without the helmet, and as you can see, it looks kind of creepy, kind of weird that it doesn't have that little chrome bit. Now, I do like the story that basically Sound Blaster, whenever it connects to another robot, it will put in some backdoor program that will allow Soundwave to access their data files and thus have a constant stream of information. Which, if you remember Soundwave, that's always been one of its classic components, being it is always getting a constant stream of information. So, just turn it back into robot mode, and yes, all the gimmicks that Blast the Twincast and all the other Titan Masters do work well with Sound Blaster, except for one little thing, which I'll mention in tape deck mode. Okay, so here we are in the tape deck mode. Now, this is where I start having a little issue with Soundwave. If you remember, Blaster was always a boombox. Soundwave was a microcassette recorder. That's why the original toys were of different sizes, but here they just went ahead and, made Soundwave the retool. They did take out the speakers, so you have these side panels now, which I guess are supposed to be microcassette speakers, but one thing that I can now point out is, if you remember, as in my original review of Blaster, there was that little nub, which also can be seen right here. That's where you can plug in Soundwave's battery pack. And of course, that hole is still there for the weapon storage. Now, for those of you who may have skipped my review of Blaster, there was one thing that a lot of reviewers were missing out on, and it was this right here. That this little data pad, which is a hover vehicle for the Titan Master and what have you, goes into its chest, but it is also a storage unit for the Titan Master, for the tape deck mode, and so you basically don't have loose parts. One little problem I've noticed, and I think it has to do with Soundwave's face, Sound Blaster does not sit as flush in this little holder that Twincast could, and I think it is because the head is a little bit bigger, but that still works. So, and of course, in this little space here, you can put Laserbeak, Ravage, Rumble, or going back to Combiner Wars, Buzzsaw. All of them will fit, but then you would end up with this little doohickey laying around loose. So, that's basically it for tape deck mode. We'll finish off in base mode. Okay, and here's the base mode, and as you can see, I got some of the little Titan Master single packs figures here just to help thicken things out like I did with Blaster. A few little changes here and there. Number one, I don't know if these little nubs were on Blaster, but that's where you can plug in Soundwave's shoulder cannon. Also, the big change is in the chest piece here, where if you remember originally, that was a hollow section where the Titan Master could just sit. They closed that off. It was a little tricky to flip up this targeting receptacle, but there's a peg in there that allows the Titan Masters to sit, to peg in quite nicely. And then up here on the arms, if you remember on Blaster, I had mentioned, I think it was particularly this side, that the double barrel cannon was a little loose. That's actually tightened up a little. It's still a little looser than I prefer, but as you can see, all the pegs and posts that you can plug Titan Masters in and their weapons are still there. Your mileage will vary depending on the paint thickness of the individual posts here and on the bottom of the feet of the Titan Master. But, you can go to town, and of course there's little on the ramps here, little plugs that you can plug this into like other bases or Fortress Maximus, or if you still, have Soundwave out and about a year from now, Triptychon. So, like I said, I like this figure. I think it's a great in-between point between the, $100 and some odd dollar masterpiece and, and then going for the original G1 toy. This is the update a lot of us have wanted. He's not a truck. He's not a vehicle of some sort. It is a tape-based alternate mode. I would have liked that if Soundwave had his own original mode, but I understand that's not the days we have. Would have preferred, a new Blaster and, things of that nature. Would have really preferred this not being a Headmaster, but that's something I mentioned in Blaster. So, like I said, I got this off of Amazon.com. They're available there now. The price fluctuates between $39 and around $42. So you might want to wait until it swings down, or you might not. But yeah, it's a cool figure. So, this is your old pal Chuck for Soundwave, Sound Blaster. We will see you next time.